What's up, everybody? This is the fourth episode of Kofe Talk, a podcast in which we connect you with someone from the sports community. Our next guest is the Assistant Athletic Director of Marketing at Marshall University, Tyler Abel. What's going on, brother?
How are you, man? Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been good. I've been chilling. You guys had some big news this week. You guys hired a new head football coach in Charles Huff. He previously was the associate head coach at Alabama. Uh, Dude has like 15 years experience both in the NFL and college football. Is coming off a natty
Right.
and has seen success throughout his entire career. I watched his press conference, and one thing that really stuck with me was he spoke on sustaining success
Right.
and having consistencies through your process, through your messaging, and through your work ethic to create opportunities to become a champion. So tell me a little bit what this week has been like. I'm sure it's been a whirlwind and what you've been up to.
Yeah, man, it's been crazy. This is my first ever experience with a new coaching hire. I came to Marshall in 2016, and Doc Holliday has been our head coach. It was 11 years, and he did a great job. But um, change isn't always expected, and it's part of the job. In the sports world, and it's been a whirlwind. But he's brought up a lot of excitement into the fan base. The community is riled up. The fans are coming out and they're excited, and everyone just wants to get a chance to meet the guy. And we're trying to figure out how to do all of that safely with COVID. So still trying to take those measures, but do the proper steps to get him out to the community and the best we can and all of that.
Yeah, what have you guys done thus far? Where have you guys been going with them? I obviously saw the arrival video that you guys put out and produced, but that was more just him arriving to the stadium, stepping out onto the field for the first time in his press conference.
A lot of local places around town, man. He's really into getting out into the community and meeting people that are valuable to the town. He knows how important Huntington is to Marshall, and it's vital, man. It's really good. It's a good thing to see. The people that have gotten a meeting this week are super excited. We went to started a little thing, coffee with the community. We're going out at 7 a.m. in the morning and keeping
Yep.
things small, um, you know, safe with COVID and all of that. But that's something that he kind of want to brand and make his own. And then, going to local restaurants, Jim Spaghetti,
Yep.
a staple here in Huntington, and other different Italian places, La Familia, etc. So, yeah, it's taking to the local spots and getting him to meet people that really have been around, and made Huntington what it is.
Did you guys go to Fat Patty's yet?
We haven't yet, yeah,
No?
but yeah, we're
That's a
going.
staple.
It is Fat Patties, and it's crazy, man. Um, you know, he talked about that in his press conference, I think, and we've had several conversations about it, so it's coming for sure.
Good, good. Now, how have the players absorbed this coaching change? I know that's always a big thing when a new coach comes in. Have they been fully responsive and behind the program? Are they back in workouts or are they still in discretionaries? What's the deal there?
Yeah, it's still kind of discretionary. He's working on hiring his staff and getting all of that process going through HR. And I believe if everything goes well, they all should be on campus today. And I think officially through all of the HR stuff early this week. So I believe that they're supposed to start winter workouts in the middle of the week. Our strength coach left as well. So bringing in a new strength coach, a completely new program. Only one coach stayed on from the previous coaching staff. So a whole lot of new faces. I think a lot of the players are really excited. It's a change for all of
Good.
us. And,
Yeah.
you probably have some guys that are questioning, like, like, what's this dude about? And what are we walking into? So I think a lot of guys are really excited. He brings a great energy, a passion, and he's ready to make it his own. And
Yeah.
it's his
And
first head coaching job. So
Yeah, and he's had a lot of success, so the players should be behind that. I mean, he's developed
Yeah.
and coached players like Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. Nice Harris. I mean, who had a phenomenal year.
Yeah, I
So
mean, you have to be
yeah,
excited.
right. Yeah. He brings a lot of experience. And yeah, I mean, you got to be ready to go. I think from day one, man. He talked a lot about, we're not a 1-9 program. I mean, we were ranked 15th in the country this past year, as high as that. We returned a lot of key pieces.
Yeah,
Offensive lines coming back. Got a great young quarterback. Wide receivers, our defense
yep,
got a few key pieces coming back, but we got a lot of young guys, man, that I think are ready
yep.
to step up, and
That's exciting.
we can do something special this year.
Yeah, that's I love to hear it because I obviously spent some time over at Marshall, and there was always a good energy about the program. I've been a couple stops since Marshall, and I will say the fan base there is one of the strongest fan bases that I've seen in my career. I mean, you guys packed the stadium.
Yeah, man, they're passionate. They love their herd football, dude. I mean, it's who we are. No pun intended. We are Marshall, but um, it's the lifeblood of the community. Like when things are going well, man, it's a different town, and people are super excited. And just there's a new sense of energy. Something different, and it's not to say that our past coaching staff didn't do great stuff, but that comes with the change, man. And I just think that we're ready to hit the ground running, and excited to see what Coach Huff can do and where he can take this program.
I'm extremely excited. But anyway, to shift gears, and the reason we really have this podcast is to talk about what you're doing and walk me through what you do and through your career thus far.
So as the assistant AD of marketing here, I obviously oversee all of the marketing efforts for our 14 sports here at Marshall. My primary responsibility is obviously football and men's basketball, and I have 2 assistants that work under me that handle our Olympic sports and all of that. But number one goal is revenue generation, selling tickets. That's the priority, especially with the way small school, small town, our budget works, everything. That's the main goal across the board. And then from there, I kind of oversee the branding, creative side of our athletic department. All of that runs through me, and I also work with Learfield IMG. They're our multimedia rights holders, so I work closely with them to make sure our sponsors and everything. We collab as a team to make sure all of that goes well in venue, on social, external in the community. So yeah, man, wear a lot of hats. We're a small team, but we get a lot done.
Do you like doing ticketing more? Do you like doing the social and creative side more? What do you like to focus in on?
Man, probably the thing I'm most passionate about and kind of really gets me going is the branding creative side. I have a lot of fun building content for our teams. Just seeing the reactions on social and stuff like that. That's one of my favorite parts of the job. And then after that, man, filling the stadium and then executing a great game plan. Whether it's music, high videos, and all of that. It's really cool to see all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes, and then to get to watch the fans' reactions in the crowd and stuff like that when you play the high video for the first time.
Yeah.
To kick off the season and stuff. So it's a few things that I really enjoy. It's a fun job. I'm blessed to be in this position and work in this career field. Got a lot of friends out there, and they're like, man, you work basketball games, or you work football games, like that's your job. I'm like, yeah, man. But it's a lot of hard work, and we have fun. We know when to work hard, and we know when to have a great time. So
When you get to play a little bit, and
yeah,
that's a good perspective on it. I think sometimes that's lost in the sports community is we are working in an entertainment industry, and we get to watch football and watch basketball and soccer and softball and all the other sports as well. And it's such a cool job. Did you always know that you wanted to get in sports? And then when you did decide that you wanted to get in, what were the steps that you took to get your foot in the door?
I did it, man. It's kind of weird. In undergraduate, I had really a goal to work in the medical field. In undergrad, I worked in athletic training at Kentucky, and I was on the medical side and physical therapy. And so like that was what my focus in undergrad. I
Yeah.
took a lot of medical classes, and it's funny how things work out. You plan for one thing, and then I kind of got to the point where I really was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and some things didn't work out, and I was trying to figure out what I was passionate about and what I loved. And I mean, I've been around sports my whole life, and I said, being an AD or working in the athletic industry would be an awesome thing to do. Grew up playing 3 different sports. My dad was a coach. My grandpa played in the ABA, man.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in the blood. And so I kind of found a program that I thought fit me, and that being FAU. I went down there and got my MBA, and I focused on sport administration. So the dual side, so the business and sports side. And I think that program opened up a lot of doors for me. I went down there to Boca. I didn't know anyone, and
Yeah.
one of the most important things for that program was you had to have like a job to stay in the program. So I was fortunate enough. I went down there and I became an SID. So I was doing a lot of the grunt work down there. I covered like 8 different sports, and I had never written about sports in my entire life. So I mean, I was kind of thrown into the fire, but I was really appreciative of the people down there that helped me kind of grow. And I got the opportunity to work with the Miami Dolphins while I was down there, kind of in like fan experience and operations outside the stadium on game day. So I kind of got to see a little bit of what went into a small piece of an NFL game. And it's insane to think about, kind of as I stepped away from that job, how much they really did on a single day outside of Hard Rock. So
Yeah, because they're taking care of thousands and thousands of fans.
yeah, right.
So it had to be cool to see right now you're more sitting in a seat where you're more integrated and connected with the team, to a seat like that where like you're a piece of the puzzle to make sure that the game gets done right, like from an operational and logistics standpoint. So you said you started and you wanted to go be an athletic trainer, and then you kind of shifted gears. What was the thought process behind that? What sparked that thought of like, oh, I don't want to be an athletic trainer anymore. I do want to go into more of the marketing side.
Kind of crazy, man. So like, obviously, halfway through my MBA program, I started looking for other opportunities. And I grew up in Kentucky, and I was looking at other programs that were close by, and a position opened up at Marshall, and I applied, and I came back home up here and did an interview.
Yeah.
And I got on board, and halfway through the program, I moved up here to West Virginia. So I left 15 minutes from the beach and came to Huntington.
It's a little bit
crazy.
different up in Huntington than at the beach.
Yeah, it was a culture shock. I'm not even gonna lie. Leaving South Florida to come here, and
yeah.
But man, I love it. Small town, and so I got the opportunity in the ticket office. And even then, I didn't really know. I just knew I wanted to be on the external side of sports. I loved like interacting with the teams, interacting with our fans, and being a part of that process. And in the ticket office, I was answering phones, making phone calls. I really got to learn about Pac-7 and how that worked. And I did a little bit of stuff with marketing. And to be honest, man, the passion there kind of clicked when I discovered Photoshop. And I thank Demetrius Robinson, who worked with me in the ticket office, and I think he's now with the Detroit Pistons. And then you came on board shortly after, and I continued to grow that creative side of stuff. That really sparked my passion for getting into the branding and figuring, out. I found a niche here, and I think that it was something that I felt like we could grow on. here at Marshall. And that's kind of where I ran with the passion toward that creative side and figuring out how we could expand that here at Marshall and grow from a marketing standpoint.
So the program that you're speaking to where you were the marketing assistant, that was also the program that I got brought onto at Marshall. And it wasn't like the most luxurious position in the world, right? I think I was making between like $600 and $800 a month. I had enough money to pay for my car, pay for food, and then we would go get 50-cent beers on the weekend. and that was pretty much it. But it was like an extension of college for us. At least that's how I felt, while being able to get our foot in the door and gain real life experience. And I thought doing it at Marshall set us up to have success down the road, because you had to be resourceful and you had to learn how to make every little bit count for every dollar that was spent. Aaron Goebel, who was our boss at the time, did a great job showing us how to do that.
Absolutely, man. He gave me the opportunity. I went from the ticket marketing assistant to, in a small time school like this, you have a lot of turnover. People get their foot in the door, they learn what to do, the right things to do, and how to manage a small budget and make the most out of it. And then they go on to bigger things. And that's just kind of how it works. And some things opened up and I got the opportunity to be the director of marketing.
Which is sick.
Yeah, in 2017, I was still in my MBA program, and it was a great opportunity. And I appreciate Aaron for giving me that. And he taught me a lot, and 2 years later, an opportunity opened up again. And, here I am as the assistant AD. So, I can't thank him enough, for kind of really showing me how things work.
One of the best parts was we all lived together in that apartment that they housed us in. And we were able to really use each other as a resource to get better every day. Like, I wasn't as inundated in the ticketing aspect of it, but because we were hanging out on a daily basis, you were getting pieces of creative, I was getting pieces of ticketing, and you kind of get to wear different hats that I don't think everybody always gets to see because athletic departments are so big.
Yeah, man. One day I'm the ticketing guy. The next day I'm trying to figure out how we can increase our season ticket numbers. And, a day after that, I'm building out posters and schedule cards and making graphics for social media and planning our social calendar. It's a fun job and we roll with the punches, man. I got a crazy story for you. Obviously this past fall was insane with COVID-19 and
for sure
people testing positive and all of that. Our first 2 home games of the season, our assistant AD of ticketing was knocked out due to contact tracing. So, going into the game 2 days before we launch our season, he was out. I had to step in with the director of ticketing and play a dual role as assistant AD of ticketing and marketing on our first game. So like before the game, I'm running around, making sure gates are open. CSC's got the scanners, and I'm thankful Matt Miller, our director of ticketing, was able to handle a lot of that on the back end. But man, it was wild, playing the ticketing. And then we kicked off and I'm running down there making sure like things are good with the video boards. And so it was, it's a crazy experience that you don't, necessarily think you're going to get to go through, but you learn on the fly and then you make the most of it.
Yeah, and I love it because Marshall puts you in a seat where you're able to wear all those different hats, right? And I think regardless of what you end up doing, continuing to work your way up the ladder there, or if you decide to take a bigger job at a different school, you are going to be put in position to be successful because of all the different hats that you've had to wear. Marshall does not have all the resources in the world.
Right.
What you guys have been able to do on social media, I think, competes with anyone in the country. What have you been doing to create efficiency and maximizing those resources, I should say? Like, what's your formula?
To be honest, we have a special team here. We have a group that is dedicated to doing everything they can. They're each individual part to make the train go. And I think that's really important. Because I think across the country, you see everyone planning and doing all these things. And we do that here, but to have a team that's bought in and as tight knit as we are, I don't know if you get that across the country. A lot of people talk about hey, like we got a great team here, but like we really are a family here. Like it's that small, you know. I don't have like a full-time creative team. We don't have a full-time graphic designer that's playing full-time videographer, etc. You know, we got me full-time, Chuck McGill full-time, our SID department, and two assistants. I got a volunteer guy that brings in his camera. You know, it's not our equipment. We don't even have a digital camera that takes pictures, you know. So it's I think across the board, man, it goes into how tight knit we are, you know, the planning on the back end, story building, social calendars, and then just being accountable, everyone doing everything they need to do to make it work.
Yeah, and that's buy-in from the community as well.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like to
Right.
have someone that just comes in and shoots for you, and I'm sure
Right.
he's compensated to an
Yeah.
extent, but to have someone that's passionate enough to come in and do those things in their off
Right.
time is still not the easiest thing to find.
No, it's not, and even some days it gets frustrating because like you always feel like you can do more, and
For
I
sure.
always feel like that, but I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish, over the past few seasons, and I'm, ready to continue to build upon that. And I think Coach Huff brings a new excitement here that we can build on, and continue to grow.
Yeah, if I know anything about the Saban tree, I'm sure you guys might get a couple more creatives here in the near future.
Fingers crossed, man. I would love it. I really think that we can do some great stuff here. The tradition, the passion, the community. Um, it really is special and it's different. I've been around the big schools, and
I got to experience it for that, 8 to 10 months or however long I was there, and
yeah,
it truly is special. I still miss it because of that,
right.
right? The
Yeah,
family atmosphere is real,
right.
and
Yeah, man.
it is a tight-knit community. While I was there, you took me through one of my favorite experiences. This is something that I will hold close to my heart forever. Took me to Lexington to go see Kentucky. It was the first time I
Yes.
got to see Kentucky live. They played UCLA. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we experienced the outcome that we wanted to
Yeah,
see.
they didn't win. I was like, I went there for 4.5 years. I only saw one loss, and I think I finally came back for the first game since I took you, and they lost. And I was like, but
It was
yeah,
like the first game they lost in,
yeah,
like they're like 2 seasons.
yeah, it was.
Those are the moments that, like I said, I hold dearest to my heart when I look back at my career and try to remember the different memories that I've built up. Going to Lexington with you and Molly
Yeah,
and going to the basketball game for the first time and really getting to know you guys as people is what it's all about, right? I think
no, for
sometimes
sure, man.
we really found like a nice middle ground to be able to
No,
have
it did.
fun and
Yeah,
also get
man.
our shit done.
Yeah, and the happy balance, dude, and it's important. You definitely, I mean, especially with the stresses that we've had over the past year, and I mean, it was a very reactive year. Trying to plan ahead was nearly impossible because games change, schedule change, and it was just like sometimes I wanted to pull my hair out, So, but we made it through, and I honestly didn't think we were ever gonna make it through a whole football season, and here we are, and close to February in the middle of the basketball season, and spring sports are getting ready to kick off. So, I mean, it's just a testament of, the staff here and around places around the country that they're able to keep it going, because it's
For
been
sure.
wild.
I think
Yeah.
me and you, when COVID first struck, we were texting back and forth, and we're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, like, what's going on up there?" Is you were asking me what was
Right.
going on down at Georgia Tech, and I was just like,
Yeah.
hey, man, you just didn't know."
You didn't. You really didn't. And you kind of went to work Monday morning. You're like, all right, what are we doing this week? So it was crazy.
Yeah. Tell me about your long game. What do you want to do, and where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10, 15 years?
Ultimately, I want to be an AD at some point in my career. I think that the next step over the next 5 years would be, jumping to taking a step up as being an associate AD of external, or like overseeing an entire external department, whether that be the
Mhm.
P5 or still the group of 5 level, and then continuing to level up until I'm at a position in my career where I can lead a program. Um, I think that's always been a passion of mine, and I feel like the expertise and everything that I'm learning here, wearing the hats and trying to figure out fundraising and things we can do from the marketing standpoint, as well as increasing our season tickets, working with Learfield IMG on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I'm getting the experience and kind of seeing the full grasp of everything that goes into the external side of the department,
Yeah.
as well as with communications. So that's really kind of where I'm looking to go, is to kind of continue to build upon my brand and everything that goes into leading the external side.
Eventually there's going to be a shift in, I think athletic directors have been hired more as like the financial gurus, and they're able to pull money into a program. And something that we're going to see here happen in the future is there's going to be a school that makes a game-changing hire, and hire someone more on the marketing side, more on the branding side, more on the creative and social side of things. And I'm excited for that, obviously, because we're in that field of work. When that person has success, because social media and branding is your strongest tool in a program, it's going to open up the doors for everybody else in the creative realm to be looked at, to have and hold that type of position.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Like you said, I mean, there's so much opportunity out there, and I really think with social, man, you have the ability to change the perception of your program, and I think it's important for people to realize how valuable it is. And sometimes it's hard to put like a dollar figure on like what you're able to do on social media, and I think that's what sometimes a lot of ads and administrators that have been around for a long time sometimes struggle with, because it's like, we're investing all these dollars, and
what's the ROI?
Yeah, like what's your ROI, like what does that turn into? And sometimes you can't put your finger on the exact
my answer is
dollar amount.
recruits.
Yeah.
That's what my answer is.
I guess recruits lead to wins, and wins lead to dollars. And,
yeah, I was like, if you really want to map it out, this is is how I would show it.
Right, man. And I think that's one thing here, man, that we've been trying to build upon, and it's working, baby steps, but like
players win football games.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, and they players choose schools based on what their brand is.
Yeah, and I think it's getting that much important, with the NIL coming, and it's going to be a shift. Like, it will be a massive shift in college athletics across the board. And we're a smaller town, so like it may not be as big of a shift here as it is for other schools around the country, but there will be one, and it's coming quick.
I think one thing to keep an eye on is the regional dollars that can be spread out. And Marshall, because the community is so tight, you guys can possibly see more success. I think there's only going to be a couple players that win at a national level, right? Like this year, you would have had your Trevor Lawrences and Justin Fields and Devontae Parkers of the world that make some of those national dollars. But that's not going to be the case for everybody. Not everybody has that type of exposure. It's going to be who can win on the regional dollars. And the schools and universities and programs that are investing in that today are the programs that are going to be able to win and capitalize on the change. You don't get something that changes the scope of college football very often. And again, the programs that capitalize on this change are the programs that will be competing for a national championship in the next 5 and 10 years.
Right, because that's what the players are going to be looking at, man. It's not so much like it's what can you do for me when I get there? Like what am I walking into, and I think that's extremely important for schools like us that are looking to take the next step, right on the outside of the group of 5, and keep building, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's extremely important to look at from our level, is like, we don't have all the resources that the Power Fives are, but what can we do for kids when they come to Huntington, or West Virginia, and we are in the tri-state, so you have access to Kentucky, Ohio, and all of that. We're right here, so I think there's great opportunity for us as a school to sit down, figure out what we need to do as a program to be ready for it.
So we'll shift gears here a little bit and kind of close out. What is your favorite memory working in sports?
Probably number one is being a part of the found ceremony and the tradition that goes into the 75 game. It's a different vibe, man. It's and a lot of people don't really understand how powerful that is, to be down on the field and to watch former players and alumni lock arms with the current team and walk out on the field. Like how powerful that is in the stadium. It's a different vibe, with the intro video, and there's a special one that we play every year, and it's not a hype vibe. Like it gets real in there real quick. And the found ceremony that day when the water turns off, or depending on what day it falls on. This year we played on the 50th anniversary. So the found ceremony was that morning. That got turned off, and then we played later that day. And so far, once we break out the black jerseys, we're undefeated. And it's a special game, and I do feel like, it's crazy to say, but the 75 is there that day. You can feel it.
Yeah, I have goosebumps just like thinking back to that because I got to experience and that whole week there's so much build up to that moment.
Yeah.
And the ceremony at the fountain, and then when they lock arms and walk out onto the field, it's one of my favorite memories as well. I mean, truly, that there is a different atmosphere in the stadium that day.
It really is. It really is, man. And it's always extremely, you just feel grateful to get to be a part of it, because so much just went into all of that, 50 years, and to look and really think about where this program is, and has come. It's crazy. It's crazy because they were that close to just never playing again.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And get to be a part of it. It's super cool. And to move basketball in 2018, we won the conference championship, and got to go to the NCAA tournament, man. Get the first win over Wichita, the big upset. That ride, that season was unbelievable.
For sure.
To be a part of. And I didn't get to travel out to San Diego to watch the victory. But, we celebrated here in Huntington, and that was something, that was really cool just to be a part of, to watch that team grow and build. And then, on the back end, everything that went into marketing and social, et cetera, that came with that run. The exposure that we got on a national scale was crazy that year. And then
I remember I was so hyped, man. I was so hyped.
It was awesome.
Tyler, I greatly appreciate it. I know this week has been extremely busy for you guys, and I know your time is super valuable. So thank you so much for jumping on the show for another episode of Kofe Talk. And again, I'm just very, very grateful to have you on, and I hope we get to do this sometime soon.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hopefully we can get through this COVID stuff, and I can come visit and spend a weekend in ATL, or you can come up to Huntington, man.
For sure.
It's been too long, but
way too long.
And I know you've been busy and killing it, and it's great to catch up.